Hey, what's up? My name's Daniel Savelt, and you're listening to Magic Land's Big Dark Room. Today, we're going to be talking to Kerry Quirk, who runs her own pretty much clothing label that is just as good as her weekly called The Ooze that she was running before the pandemic. We're going to get her in the chair. We're going to talk about DJing. We're going to talk about vinyl. We're going to talk about promoting. And we're going to talk about club culture. So stay tuned, and here we go. Well, Kerry, welcome to Big Dark Room.
Thanks for having me.
You're absolutely welcome. It's a privilege. After doing my homework on you, I'm eager to get talking. So let's see what's on the first on the list. We have this line I wrote down after I listened to one of your SoundCloud sets.
Oh, sure.
It was something Boston titled. You were in there with about 10 other DJs. You're playing at 5 o'clock.
The Boston in the Mix.
Yeah.
Was it that?
Was that all vinyl?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't vinyl.
They sound like vinyl selection.
That was like probably 2015. It was one of those things where it was like when Evolution 101.7, the electronic station.
Yeah. Okay.
They were still on the air, and it was around like Holy Ship, and they were doing like kind of like a Boston like collective, like, so I don't really remember who booked me, but a bunch of local Boston DJs. It was like anyone who was either a club DJ or a producer or any type of DJ in Boston.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, do a mix for this show. But yeah, it was when I'm pretty sure it was when Evolution or maybe Amp 1033 was still on the air. But it was one of those where it was like, record this type of mix and put it out there. It
sounded to me like vinyl. It definitely sounded like I have this track and I have this track and I have this, and it was just
that's awesome because that's what I tried
everywhere
to do.
You wanted to go with it. The thing I said was your mixing makes me want to dig till my fingernails are black. Well,
that's a really cool compliment.
After listening to that set, you deserve it. You played like 6 different genres.
I grew up listening to a lot of kinds of music, and I try to bring that to when I play sets because I feel like people when they DJ. You know, at the end of the day, what's a DJ at its basic form? It's a form of entertainment. And I feel like DJs get so in their head about, oh, I gotta play this track and look so cool. I'm gonna look like this and like everyone's gonna love my set. And like people don't really actually like that shit. You know? Can I swear?
So.
Can I?
Yeah, okay, swear cool. It the fuck up.
Fuck yeah.
Cool.
But it's like one of those things where it's like DJs are meant to be entertaining, so I try to bring a lot of genres and things and make people have a good time and smile and dance. And I love to play a lot of like 12-inch singles and things like that. So that's awesome you said that. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. How many pieces are in your collection?
My record collection?
Yeah.
Actually not that many, but I can probably buy a house with if I sold it off.
Wow.
So I like to collect really fun vinyl.
That sounds like a few thousand.
Yeah, a little bit more than that. Yeah, it's good.
How many do you have?
I probably own maybe 50 or 100 records.
Okay.
But I don't really own that many records, but the records I do own are records that either are collectible or of certain releases from artists I really love that I actually listen to because I don't play my records out. I love, like in the club, I listen to them at home. But
I have a set of records that are on the shelf. They're VG Plus, NM, NM Plus, that type of thing. And then I have a set that I take out.
Yeah.
And then I have the blackout set that's like, I don't care what the fuck happens to these records. I don't even care if they come back with me from the party.
Oh, I love that. I would love to play, I mean, I can play vinyl. I would love to play a vinyl set, but the records I do own, they're for at-home listening, like deep. It's a lost art for deep listening.
Yeah.
Where you just put on a record and you actually listen to it the whole way
Listen
through.
to the damn thing.
Yeah, like you're not skipping through your songs on your phone. We all do that now,
Yeah.
you know?
So, all right, what else do we got here on the master list? Ooh, I got one. So what's your holy grail for vinyl? What can't you find? What have you been looking for and looking for and looking for and looking for?
I actually own every thing that I've wanted to find.
Huh?
The things I don't have, I can get. But my favorite record I own is Spooky Black. He's kind of like a SoundCloud singer from that era of SoundCloud rappers and singers. But his first record that came out was printed and it was shipped. And I guess almost like 3/4 of the records that were physically made were just shit, were warped.
Wow.
And I have one of the ones that wasn't. And it's like very hard to find, but it's one of my favorite records, because not only is it a hard record to get, because there were only like I think 200 or 300 copies made, but like 3/4 of those were just garbage. You couldn't even listen to it.
Yeah,
That's probably one of my favorite records that I have, just because of that situation.
That's a good story.
You know,
I was talking with Jonathan Santarelli about evolution of the dance floor,
Sure.
and the last really big change was smoking. I noticed 25% of my clubbers just dropped off and never came back when the smoking ban hit. Like,
really?
They just like poof, gone.
They're like, I can't smoke in the club, so I'm not
done.
coming.
Yeah, drinking, smoking, same thing. Like these two things go
They're
together.
like peanut butter and jelly.
Right. So these people are like, these guys are just like, I'm drinking and I can't smoke. Fuck this. I'm never coming back. So they never came back. And then now you have this population of smokers. At the time, people are still smoking a lot more cigarettes than they do now. Now they
Sure.
vape, you know. So now you have the smoking area. So how many times have you had the joy of playing to all of your friends out there in the fucking sidewalk?
Oh, man, so it's funny you say that, because I have a lot of bad habits, but I've never been able to get addicted to cigarettes.
Yeah.
I've tried many times.
Wait a minute. Did you just say you tried?
Oh, yeah.
To come.
Oh, I love a good.
Become addicted to
oh
cigarettes?
yeah, of course. Because I've never been able to like get addicted to cigarettes. It's one of those weird things. It's a joke in my friend group, because it's like I have a lot of other issues, but cigarettes is not one of them.
Yeah,
But it's funny
fair
because a lot of people think I smoke, because I don't know. It's either the tattoos or the fact that like I have friends I've known for years.
Yeah.
That ask me for cigarettes, and I'm like, I actually don't smoke.
Right.
But I don't mind playing to no one on the dance floor if everyone's outside smoking, because I know my friends can still hear it on the.
Yeah, fair
outside.
enough. But I mean, the people on the dance floor are now getting their attention divided. You don't have their attention for
connection.
the evening.
Yeah.
You know, and you have it punctuated with, like, let me put it to you this way.
Sure.
I hear what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying. I don't mind DJing to an empty room in that way, but it kind of irks me in the, you know, this isn't exactly taking my career anywhere.
Oh no, I agree with you. It's like, I mean, I love my friends, but
Yeah.
if I have friends that come see me play, they
Yeah.
usually don't hear me play. They're outside smoking.
Right.
But that's
So
okay.
now their attention is diverted.
Oh, of course.
From the main event, which is, you know,
Sure.
listening to the story that you're telling.
Well, that's
You know
I
what
mean, that's like
And
why Bijou has like that 12:30 rule.
What's the 12:30 rule?
Or
of
is it
Bijou?
11
For
I
our
think
listeners, for our viewers who don't know what
So
the 12:30
I think it's
rule is.
11:30. So like Bijou, it's a club in Boston, has
Yeah.
a rule where they don't allow people to go outside and smoke until I think 11:30. So it's like all of my friends that smoke never want to come to the club with me early, because they're like, well, I fucking can't go outside, you know.
Wow.
But anyway,
But
go
do you see how important that is?
Oh, it is. No, absolutely.
These people are throwing away nights because it's just like the 25% that just like, I can't smoke in the club. Fuck this shit.
Oh,
I'm not-
absolutely, absolutely.
Right. You have the narrative that you're trying to construct. It's one thing if your friends are, if you're playing music, if you're playing club music at an appropriate level, I should be able to talk with you at a loud volume about like this, like, hey, how are you doing? We should be able to do that.
Oh my God,
right?
I'm such a stickler for that.
Yeah.
I'm such a stickler for that.
Right. So now we can smoke in the club, you know, or where I'm going with this is, have you ever been in the DJ booth and had someone come up and say, can you lean off the strobe lights? I get seizures. I call security. I'm just like,
I've never heard that.
come here, out, seizures, get out.
I've never had someone say that. What happens to me more often than not is some dude goes, "Hey, do you mind if I step in and play music?" Because being a female, that happens quite often. I've never had the seizure. Oh yeah. I'm talking like opening. I opened.
Nobody's asked me that.
I opened for Nora and Pure at fucking Royale, and some dude asked me that. Like the stage of Royale, dude. What do you? But no one's ever asked me about strobe light seizures.
Oh, I know what you don't get. You don't get girls coming up and showing your tits looking for songs. Like, hey, can you play some Brianna for me?
I've had a lot of that. I've had.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I've had. So I'm happily married, quote unquote.
Right.
I love my girlfriend.
Yeah.
But I mean,
cool.
People know my past history, know that I used to be kind of a dog. So girls still try to do types of shit like that, and it's my girlfriend fucking hates it.
Right on. Yeah.
She should, Anytime I book someone that's young, maybe they're so, when you're young, you're starting out, you're so focused on how does my set sound?
Yeah.
Oh, people know I fucked up. People know I made a mistake. And it's like, no, people don't. Everyone out there is either drunk or they don't understand DJing or music. They're having a great time. As long as you didn't have empty air, you're doing great.
So let's keep moving here. You write a blog.
I do. Gorgeous
and
Brunette.
I read a little bit on your blog, and I read on November 30th of 2019. I read a piece that you did about what was it? It was like,
I don't remember the name of the piece.
Hold on, I gotta go here. Music conversion therapy.
Yeah.
Part 1. And so what I found interesting about that article is you're talking about the clubs in Boston that are in a quasi-state of ownership. So the city somehow leases them out with the idea of, we get to pull the drawstring out from underneath you anytime we like.
For the most part, yeah. And this was pre-COVID.
I think like Live Nation backed type of organizations started leasing clubs from the city because they were more amenable to jumping through the hoops the city wanted. That was
kind of it wasn't I mean I don't know this for sure, but it was something I noticed, like take Big Night Live, for example. Big Night Live, for you viewers at home, is a club that is basically in TD Garden.
Okay.
And the guys that own it own a few other clubs in Boston. They own Memoir in Encore, the casino.
Okay.
And they own, the Grand in Seaport, and Scorpion Bar. I noticed that they were opening, that they already had Live Nation people in there.
Yeah.
So my whole thought was, and I mean, I probably shouldn't be talking about this because this is just a crazy conspiracy theory I had, but it's one of those things where it's like, I feel like Live Nation is really coming in and almost like not wanting to brand their own clubs, but take over some of these venues and make them almost just Live Nation venues. Mm-hmm. Because why else would there be Live Nation management in a nightclub from the jump?
I would assume if there's Live Nation management, then there's Live Nation objectives being adhered to.
Well, exactly.
Like, concerned with.
Absolutely. But to me, that's weird. It's like any nightclub I've ever worked in, and I've worked in quite a few. I've seen a bunch, and have people I love to work for and people I don't like to work for. You have your management. You're a standalone club. Yeah. So why all of a sudden would there be this huge corporate company have management and people in?
Well, is there a similarity branding wise between the club? Is there Live Nation out front?
No. So my thought was that it's kind of a thing where it's like some of these people that run nightclubs, it's like, unfortunately, it's never the people that have the right goals in mind when they open a nightclub. It's people that have money that can get the permits, because it's really hard in Boston to own a nightclub. And
I've known people who own clubs and people who run clubs shouldn't be the same people.
Yeah, exactly. So
of course there's people who can do it, but just kind of like as a rule of thumb.
Oh, sure.
Like when people tell you don't master your own tracks.
Yeah.
It's
really similar. So what I think is happening is kind of like hey, we have this idea and it's a nightclub and we're going to make money doing it. But at the end of the day, my thought in what I talked about in that post was that they're just going to flip it and sell it to Live Nation. Almost kind of like a House of Blues, but House of Blues is kind of like standalone. But it's concerning for me because I can see it happening where people with money can just open a nightclub, and in a year after they're like substantiated, people know the venue, they can kind of flip it and just have all Live Nation drones in there. And
well, on the stats, and please in the comments tell me if I'm wrong. Most clubs they close after about 3 years. Like
that's really common.
Their peak is in about 3 years. So this is where you want to own the club,
right?
And then this is where people are like, nothing new is going on in there.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you get your regulars and all that type of stuff. So it's like your blister of income that you're going to get the best return for your money is going to be that first 3 years.
No, absolutely. But I mean, most club owners, in my experience, they take that, they know how to run clubs, and they take that money, they take what they have, and they enjoy it and prosper while they can. Right. They close down for a few years, they reopen either in another venture, either restaurant or nightlife. Okay. This to me is more concerning because it's not one owner who owns restaurants, and it's not like a Frank DiPasquale who owns restaurants and nightclubs. It's Live Nation, which to me is like very, very concerning, because once Live Nation starts owning clubs, you're not going to get local bookings, you're not going to get opening DJs. And I mean, no disrespect to Big Night, but it's one of those things where it's like nobody knows any of their opening DJs. Like they're brought in.
Who are these guys? They're not local support.
No one's ever heard of them. No one even knows who they are. Because when you're in a club, your goal is, okay, I'm going to book a local support and maybe a headliner, and the local support is, people know them. That's why you come early. They want to pack that club early. Right. But this, to me, it's weird. It makes me uncomfortable.
From what I've seen, Live Nation seems to approach the dance music business with a lot of blinders from the concert business. In the early 2000s, Deep Dish, Sasha, Paul Oakenfold, Darren Emerson, all these guys were doing parties in big venues, but they were treating them like oversized clubs. So if you listen to a recording from back in those days, when they start off with an approach. We're going to start, like Danny Tenagula says, we're going to start things off slowly. And it's an adventure. It's a ride. It's an ever evolving story.
It's an escape. It's a trip.
But the trip lasts 4 hours to 6 hours or whatever it is. Now,
that's why they advertise the open to close sets now.
Right. Well, I mean, that's the thing. That's the marathon the marathon DJ. The 6 hour marathon set is like, well, ho. But the only reason it's called that now is because everybody's used to these 1 hour and get out type of sets. It's like I look at my relationship with the promoter when I get thrown an opening gig. Yeah. I look at my relationship with the promoter and how much I'm getting paid. You know what I mean? So it's like if I'm getting paid well and I have a good relationship, I love opening. If it's we're throwing you in here because we want somebody who's professional but we don't want to pay him or this, that, and the other thing, and it's just like, okay, so I'm here for my brand and I'm now going to play my brand. Like if I'm not going to be serviced to that level or there's a relationship there, I literally don't have a business incentive to play my slot like it's the new millennium.
Oh, of course.
And I'm going to play it like a concert. So I'm going to get on there, and if it's, I don't care if it's 6 o'clock, I'm going to rip your face off.
Right, and you should. No, you should. I mean, I've heard stories. Luckily, I've never had experiences, but I've heard stories where it's like, oh, don't play this, don't play XYZ, don't play because the headliner is going to be playing those things. I'm not going to jack the headliner's tracks, but I mean, it's like if the headliner can't stand up to me opening up the dance floor, that's his fucking problem. Oh, I'm sorry. No, but the biggest compliment is when you crush it more than the headliner, and that's I tried my best to do that. Yeah. Because you should, because if people are there early, like. Nobody, at least anymore, nobody goes to clubs before midnight anymore.
But it's a concert now.
I know.
Right? So when you go to see someone for an hour, you want them to blow your head off.
Yeah.
Because the next DJ, I don't like this guy, I'm going to go smoke.
Right. But so when I have people in the club, I don't care if it's no one, I don't care if it's 5 people, I don't care if it's 50 people, you're gonna get a fucking good time because that's what you should get.
Yeah, I mean, like,
if I keep people on the dance floor as an opening DJ, that's the nicest compliment.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing better than that, because you know what? Eventually they're gonna have to smoke, and they're not smoking during my set. So guess whose set they're gonna smoke instead of?
Yeah.
The guy headlining. You know, that's cool.
So, boy, I feel like I fell off the path. Where'd we go? How are you keeping creative and having the ability to be, you know, functionally productive, like productive with products that you put out during COVID? What have you been doing?
I really hate to say it, but my life did a 180 and got so much better because of COVID. I know a lot of people are suffering and not doing well.
Good for you. I don't think anybody's going to besmirch you.
Yeah, but I feel shitty for saying it, because you know, there's a lot of people in a lot of bad situations out there, and I'm not saying that, you know, I have it perfect, but because of COVID, I was able to, shout out to Damien Paul, Rabbit Revolution, because my friend Damien was able to teach me how to stream, and I basically took my party, the Ooze, and made it a stream.
Yeah.
So I still have my event. I never stopped doing my event. It's still monthly, so I basically have continued to do my event the entire time of COVID. But instead of, you know, no offense to anyone who's doing the Facebook Live thing, but like, we have a really professional stream with QRC codes for the donations and a host visual overlays. Like, it's very interactive. It's very professional looking. I've been able to book artists that I've never thought I would even be able to talk to, from all over the world: Russia, Australia, France, LA. You know, it's been really cool because, you know, I throw a Tuesday night event. You're not going to pay a kid from Russia to fly out for a Tuesday night event. Like, logistically, money wise, it's just not feasible.
It's hard to generate that much money on Tuesday.
Exactly, and I don't want to. I don't want to. Right. I want to keep it a Tuesday. Tuesday show.
What's the cap that you were working with before? Because obviously you haven't been doing it. So what was your cap?
Oh, sure. So the Ooze has had several homes. The Ooze, I started in 2015 at Therapy in Providence.
Oh, okay.
It's not, Therapy's obviously not.
2013, so you were in the old
2015. 2015. So not the first Therapy, the one across the street.
Oh, right. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
So we started there. I did a couple shows at Icon. When I was the booking agent at Wonder Bar, I did it at Wonder Bar.
Yeah.
Now I do it at Zuzu in Cambridge.
Oh, okay.
I think the cap there is technically, I want to say it's 90, but it's like it's 50. If it should be 50.
Right. But that's a pretty open. Zuzu's a pretty open blank room. That's a lot of space in there.
Zuzu is actually a place I wish I could have done it from the beginning. It was like, you know, I was the talent buyer and booking agent at Wonder Bar, so I did it because it was free for me to do my event. Like, why am I not going to do it there?
Yeah.
But as far as like being an intimate, fun night, that's kind of the goal. So having it at Zuzu, it's like that feels like home out of any club that I've ever done it at.
I'm trying to remember last time I played Zuzu, and I think that was 2 years ago. And the sound system was...
It's been redone.
Good. There's
yeah, because it used to not be good. They redid it maybe 3 or 4 years ago at this point.
Yeah, about the 4 or 5 times I've played there, the sound's always been like, really?
But the thing is that I have my friend Dan Dabu, who does sound for Sonic Beating. He comes in and he helps me set up, and he makes sure that things are good. Because they have a one giant subwoofer and then, you know, speakers. But like, if you go in there on any given night, it's usually just some kid that plugs in the subwoofer, has no idea what he's doing, and it sounds like we talked about being too loud. Let's normalize clubs and nightlife and bars and restaurants to actually hiring the right people for jobs and hiring people that know what they're doing.
I'd like that.
And not just going, oh, well, my buddy did this. Like, same with graphic designers. Oh my God, some of these fucking clubs.
See, you know why these owners do this, though?
But they don't know any better.
Well, it's a blend of a bunch of things, and this is a personal opinion. You know, again, everybody in the comments can let me know if I'm wrong. So I think these club owners get into this position mentally they get into this position because they're surrounded by people who they believe are trying to rip them off. Okay, so what do you do about that? Well, the end game is if it doesn't put asses in seats or buys drinks, I'm not putting money in it because everybody around here is trying to rip me off. So you wind up with club owners to say, well, wait a minute. Instead of paying $500 for this professional over here, I can pay $75 for this guy, give 5 of his friends an absolutely open bar for the night, and pack this place stupid with college kids. And they went, done. Yeah. And then all the DJ talent just drained right out from every one of those.
I'm glad we're past that.
Right.
I'm very glad we're past that.
I did not enjoy that. I took that very personally.
But it's one of those things where not to get distracted.
Sure.
But it's like one of those things where it's like I have a lot of friends. I mean, all my friends work in clubs, and I would know who I would hire if I owned my own club. But like, I fucking wouldn't take advice from any of them. They're all degenerates. I love my friends. They're great. But I'm just saying, it's like if I ran a business, like wouldn't you, like, my first thought is, like, even for the ooze, like, I look for people that know what they're doing because I don't want to learn how to do it. And you would think that if you own a business, you know, an investment, your livelihood, wouldn't you go out and be like, wow, I want to find the best person that can teach me? But
now put this into the equation. You don't know when you're looking at them which one's the good one. You don't know when you're talking with them which one's lying to you.
But at the end
I understand that you don't have this affliction. Put yourself in the shoes of somebody who does. And then they just go more and more and more and more. It's like everybody's lying to me.
But if you own a club, at that point, I feel like you should have the most successful clubs and bars. Yeah. You have connections and you talk to people on a regular basis. You either have an amazing food vendor, you get hooked up on maybe crazy good deals on seafood or whatever it is that your restaurant does or whatever.
You're describing a good club.
Right, exactly. But like, it's one of those things where you should know at that point, if you run a business and you're getting sidelined by people and things, maybe you shouldn't own a business.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you own a business, you should probably have your shit together. Right. And it's unfortunate that we don't see that. But so we talked about like the whole thing where it's like everyone plays an hour set.
Yeah.
So when I was a resident at Rise, Mike Swells, he really gave me my start. And I remember I was playing in the lounge and he let me play. At the time, we called it like love trap, like melodic trap music.
Yeah.
It was kind of this like vibey, like, you know, when everyone was doing really good Molly and, you know, you had this like vibey melodic stuff, but it was in the lounge. And I had this whole vision for it. It's kind of like the basis of what I started the ooze on, like playing different kinds of genres that you didn't hear in clubs.
Yeah.
And I brought that to him and I said, this is what I want to play. And he said, okay. And no one else was letting me play this at the time. And I was opening, he goes, all right, you can have a 30-minute set. You're opening for the Wig, Rich Cheswick.
Okay,
who's a friend of mine.
That's no slouch. I mean, I know the guy. He's no slouch.
Rich has helped me out a lot. I'm actually doing his show later next month, actually. But
cool. Tell Rich I said hi.
Yeah. He's in the Cape now. And I guess they're like, you know, the Fenghua bus broke down as it always does, like clockwork. And Mike comes up to me at like 25 minutes into my 30-minute set.
Yeah.
And goes, oh, so Rich isn't coming. You have to play for the rest of the 6 hours.
Jeez.
And, you know, I come from an era of DJs where, like, you adapt. Yeah. You don't bitch. You don't whine about gear. You make that shit work, and you don't put up a fight. Because if you do, you're not playing.
Yeah.
You're not getting gigs.
Right.
And now I feel like a lot of DJs, they're, you know, oh, I have my tractor controller. I'm only going to play on that. Okay, well, great. Congratulations. But, like, you should expand your horizons a little bit. Yeah. So when
it needs to become, I prefer to play on that.
Oh, absolutely. But when he asked me, I knew it was almost like a test. He obviously didn't plan for Rich not to come.
Right. But let's find out.
But Mike putting me on the spot like that, I think he really wanted to push me because he he needed me obviously, but B, he believed in me. Like he could have finished and played. You know, anyone could have.
He knows his own club.
Exactly, but he asked me to do that, and I did it, and it was, you know, I have no issue playing really long sets. I do, you know, the sunrise sets when Disc Jam was open do 12 hours,
right.
You know, and that's fun for me. He really believed in me, and I think he pushed me to do that, and so that was really cool to be able to say, hey, I'm a resident at Rise, and I deserve to be here, you know.
Right. So one of the things I wanted to bring it back to was we were talking about the blog post that you made regarding the clubs in Boston, but specifically the idea that the Lions Club isn't owning the way they did in like with Avalon and Access, and they used to own most of it.
Open it, sell it, and be done with it.
Right.
And like that to me is so dangerous.
So what do you think now? Because that blog post was a snapshot. Right, it was November. It was November 30th, right before. It was right when we were figuring out that we were going to have a pandemic. So it was before everything. No one was thinking about it at all. So what happened to those clubs now? Like, how is Bijou holding up against all this?
It's as far as like clubs and things, like what's going on. I mean, you know, it sucks to see because I had a lot of friends that DJ and they were trying to get gigs during the pandemic that were, you know, like on Newbury Street, a lot of the stores will have a DJ come in and play music. You know, yoga studios, cycle studios, they'd have DJs play music.
You know, Jonathan Santarelli does. Well, before the pandemic, he was doing a bunch of clothing stores and stuff like that.
So
he was actually in Neiman Marcus in New York too.
Well, okay, so exactly, like that's a loophole that a lot of my DJ friends were doing.
Right.
And then that was banned. Right. But the plus side is that what I think is going to happen is that there's going to be like a DJ renaissance, because people are so eager to go out. So I have a lot of friends that are booking shows and events and are selling out ASAP, and that's awesome. I love seeing that happen.
Yeah.
So I think there's going to be more of a push for local talent.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a good time to be a DJ or a band if you stuck it out through this, because the government was not kind to us.
Historically, after pandemics, after cholera, Black Death, bubonic plague, all that type of stuff,
Sure.
the populace just loses their fucking minds.
Oh, absolutely.
Nobody learns things historically, from what I've read so far, is no one comes away from a pandemic like, oh, we've learned, we know what we're doing now. Once the cure is in, we're done.
Oh no, it's party central.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess I'm fine with that. Like, it's like you guys kicked off my DJ calendar for the spring and summer, which is awesome. Like, it's great, but like it was like almost like my brain had to come out of hibernation. Like, I have shit to prep for. I have mixes to record. I have stuff
back
to do.
Back in the game. Okay, here we go. I've done this before.
Gotta crank the wheel, and you know, but it's good, and I love seeing it happen. As far as those clubs though, I mean, I know that they're rescheduling events.
Yeah.
I saw that you know, Big Night, for example, they're taking events from House of Blues.
I guess my underlining question is the people who are involved in this big buyout is, have they had the financial wherewithal to brave this? Meaning that you were saying like, wow, it's really interesting that there's Live Nation management or representation in here at levels I just haven't seen it before. But it's also like I saw it in this club, and I see the same thing in this club, and I see the same thing in this club, right? In order to test how much money is backing this, the pandemic is a perfect
they didn't have anything to worry about.
Right.
If
like, they're in the exact same place, then it gives a lot more credence to what you're saying, because they're just like, yeah, we got more money than God. We don't.
I mean, it's one of those things where I like we were talking about earlier. You know, if you own a business, if you own a club, you know, investing in the people and money that are good at what they do. So it's like I had a lot of respect, you know, in some ways for Big Night, because they brought in the best sound systems. They really went balls to the walls with investing in quality sound production and all these things that as a DJ, as a performer, it's like when you walk into a club and like things just sound great and it's easy to plug in, like that's a good feeling. You know, we've all been to sets where it's like you learn very quickly, I need to be on top of my shit. That's why,
no one's here to prevent you from making an ass of yourself.
Oh, absolutely. That's why I'll be a bitch. I'll grab the sound guy. I don't care if people think I'm pushy. I don't care, because when I play, I want to sound good.
That's your brand.
It abs.
Right. Nobody in the audience is going, oh, she sounds like shit because of something somebody else did.
Well,
no one says that.
it's even
no one thinks that.
I hate to play this card. It's even worse to be a female, because when you can't play due to a technical issue that's out of your control, people look to you and you're
in over your head. You're stupid. You're being hysterical.
Dude,
just whatever.
I don't like to play the fucking gender card. I really don't. But it's really true. People look to you when they see a female walk on the stage and go to the booth, and they expect you to fuck up.
Right.
And so if you're not,
it's a man's world. What are you doing?
Exactly. But if you're not playing due to a technical issue, which has happened to me so many times, it's always going to happen. Yeah. You can always prep for things, but it's like, when those things are out of your control, it's it sucks. But back to Big Night, they had so much money that they were investing in like all the highest end technology and gear. They have a Function One system. They have all brand new DJ gear. But it's one of those things where that's how you know that they're investing all their money in all this top gear and don't really have to worry about pandemic or like like Great Scott closed, a lot of venues shut down, Wonder Bar closed. Not that I'm sad about that, but then you see positive things like Great Scott. They're opening 100% in the Pizzeria Regina's in Alston. They bought that building and they're gonna do live music and have pizza and stuff. So
I like live music and pizza.
Who doesn't?
What do you have coming up, actually? So, how do our viewers get in touch with you and find out where's your websites? I mean, we're going to have links in the description and stuff like that, but like, what's the future for you? Because the pandemic is coming to an end. So, where are you going?
Thank God.
Right?
Oh, so where can people find me?
Yeah, where can people find you? What's your website? Do you have
my website is Gorgeous Ranting Brunette, just like it sounds, Gorgeous Ranting Brunette.
Yep, there'll be links in the description.
WTF, because that was fun just to have.
Really?
Oh yeah,
oh shit. Okay, cool. I missed that. I didn't. Hold on.
If people go,
oh, it is. No kidding. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That was my website.
There's a testament to my powers of observation.
My website guy said, "Oh, you can have a .com or .net, but like, you can have a fun thing." Yeah. So I said, "Let's do the fun thing." So that's my website. You can buy merch there. You can buy merch there, which is. Again, you can buy merch there, so buy merch there.
And this is some of your merch here, right?
Yeah, so that's some of my merch. You can read my blog, but it's also partly a website for the Ooze too, so you can check out the Ooze.
Yeah, but you're not talking about yourself enough. You got hoodies, you got like bags, you got give me the list. What can they get? Because your merchandise looks fucking great.
Do you mind passing me the bag? I can show some stuff. Is that cool if I show some stuff? Do you guys mind?
See how it goes. If it makes your product look stupid, we'll cut it.
Awesome.
We're here to take care of you. Or we'll take care of you.
So all my merch is limited to 100 pieces.
Yeah.
Shorts. I have joggers. Tees. Where am I? Oh. These though. These are like the coolest fucking thing, and I made zero money on them. I lost so much money on them, but I'm so glad they're done. My
Oh, cool. And this is all... Is that Tamagotchi?
Yeah, I made up.
No shit.
Like fake Tamagotchi keychains. Those were hard as shit. Now that I know how to make them, I will never go through that process again. But
now that I know how to do it, I'm never doing it again.
No, but yeah. So,
no, these are just painted. Yeah, that's
yeah. Okay. No, they're not real, but they're expensive enough for me to make that they should be real.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So this is all merchandise that is available either on your website or if people go to the Ooze Night.
Oh yeah, so like when we do real events again, you can buy the merch there. But yeah, it's all on my website. You can grab any of that. But the whole thing with the merch is like it's the same way I do the events, where it's like I commission an artist to do a design, and I work with them to figure out what we should make that design become as far as merch.
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, I always wanted my merch to be like, I want it to be something cool that you'd buy even if you didn't know what the ooze was.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah.
All your merchandise is.
Thank you.
All your merchandise is like, well, that's neat. I mean,
Thank
having a shirt that says the ooze on it is like, okay, without the night, that's a little bit of a stretch. But I mean, the rest of
so
stuff, you don't even necessarily
I appreciate
have to know
that.
anything about that.
Yeah, so that's what I want to do. I do have some gigs coming up. I have where's my phone? What do I have coming up? I'm playing a couple radio shows. I'm playing the Wigs radio show. I'm doing Brianna Payon, Vertebrae. She's doing a virtual stream. Shane's Mutiny, the roller disco, which is
next year.
No, it's in May.
Oh, it is. That's
yeah,
right. We are in 2021.
That's my I'm so hyped. I'm so hyped for that roller disco. I'm playing
one 4 years ago or something. Yeah,
I can't.
I did it on roller skates.
That's my whole aesthetic is just I can't wait. I'm playing Interbloom in May. I have a bunch of stuff coming up, but check out the website. Look up the ooze on Instagram and Facebook, and yeah. But cool. You can also reach out to me. I'm easy to talk to.
How?
On Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I have all those. I don't do the Snapchat. I don't do the TikTok shit. But
yeah. What are you gonna play for us in your set today?
I was booked to play a house set, so that's what I'm gonna play.
Good.
I have. Again, I feel like house music is a very broad genre.
Sure. Depending on how you interpret it, it's the broadest of all genres.
It is, but like I think there's a lot of subgenres in house music, and
like drum and bass.
Oh, absolutely. But
how far would you like to take this?
I'm saying like real house music, like
yeah.
And I like to play a lot of my friends' music, so I'm gonna do that. I have some Pat Fontes tracks, R.I.P.
Yep.
That Nick Manieri actually released a couple stuff on the archive website, so I grabbed a couple of those tracks, but some lo-fi stuff, some actual like house bangers, but rise at 4 a.m. type stuff. But I don't know. I'm gonna see what happens. Okay. I never know what I'm gonna play.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I think we're done.
Yeah, I think we're good. Let's do this.
Cool.
Let's get you behind the decks.